partnership.
How do you feel you stack up to other sources, new sources of energy, wind, for example? Australia, I think, has some potential in solar. What's your kilowatt hour cost look like there?
Oh, it's a very good question. I think having been only 15 years in this field, we have a high level of confidence that we will be competitive with most of the highly matured renewable energy like wind onshore within next couple of years. And in terms of kilowatt hour cost, we believe at the end of the first 5 megawatt, our cost per kilowatt hour would be as little as 14 or 15 cents per kilowatt hour. And by the time we reach 50 or 75 megawatt, our cost would be in single digits, 9 to 10 cents possibly. And that means it would put us very nicely competitive with most types of energy, and certainly a step further with competing with fossil fuels.
You're an old nuclear man, so I can ask you this question. One of the things that happened in the early days of nuclear power was everybody thought there should be a different kind of reactor. The British built the Magnavox and the AGR, and finally bought a light water reactor. People built gas-cooled reactors, and they tried to build breeder reactors, and because there were many ways to do this.
Sure.
There wasn't just one. It's very similar with what you're doing with ocean power. There are many ways to do it. At this conference here in Washington, D.C., there's a plethora of technologies.
Sure.
How is the world going to sort out the winners and the losers among these technologies?
I think the market has reached a stage in its life and its path that it will sort itself out. I don't think there has to be any specific focus on sorting that out at this early stage. I think actually you're absolutely right in your observation. The market is still broadening, and it has not started converging. Sooner or later it will have to converge, and through that conversion we'll end up probably half a dozen or less technology, which would be equivalent role model of what we know as wind turbines today or in wind industry. I think the big difference is that there is vast amount of energy in ocean, and there's vast amount of, if you like, space. 3/4 of Earth is covered with water. And put it in perspective, you can imagine that how much opportunities there are. And certainly there are a lot of rooms for a lot of technologies to succeed. What is important, of course, I say this as a passionate person in this sector, I love to see majority of people who are genuinely trying to succeed. I think that's important. I think it is only through many people succeeding we could address some of the climate issues that we're facing today, and addressing some of the issues that our future generation have to face up with. And it's important for us to work together, share knowledge, and create that momentum and inertia in this sector, and gain, if you like, the public respect and trust in what we're trying to do. In terms of the how much energy there is, if I could give you an example through one of the studies that done by one of our think tanks back in Australia, 0.02% of ocean energy up to 80-meter depth would be sufficient to provide whole energy needs of the world.
Wow. Is there some breakthrough that is needed? In many technologies that there's this threshold that if you could just get beyond it, is there anything like that that is holding back ocean energy?
I think what is holding back ocean energy, there is lack of sufficient fund actually to support ocean energy to get to their targets sooner than later. Ultimately, some of the largest, if you like, beneficiaries of this energy are people who are in oil and gas, utilities, mining industries, and resources. They are the largest users, or also put slightly different, they could be considered some of the largest polluters, if you like, on Earth. They ultimately would benefit from this type of technologies. But of course, natural tendency of those organizations, and is their prerogative, is to hold back and invest in a technology that is fully proven and de-risked. And of course, that is one of the impediments for emerging technologies to succeed sooner than later.
In conclusion, why has it taken, it's so obvious, the energy in the ocean, everybody knows about it. We've all been swept out to sea at the beach. We know about the energy in the ocean. It's not a secret. But why is it that wind is approaching a point of maturity as an energy source? Solar cells, at least, are approaching a point of maturity. That this very promising technology is really only at the beginning after, it's a long time since the energy crisis of 73, 74, which really started these other technologies out of the gate.
Yes, I think is again very valid question. If you could cast your mind back to wind energy era, they tried for 60 years to get the wind energy to where it is. And I remember up to 1970s, 1980s, and in fact even to right up to parts of 1990s, there was fierce competition between various technologies of wind. And there were numerous amount of ideas that which one is going to be the wind energy, if you like, of the future model. And once they cracked that initial barrier and they started consolidating and converging, then everything started expanding and growing exponentially. And suddenly they took off, and they took off very fast. If you consider that they took about 60 years possibly to get to where they are today, and then compare that to ocean energy at best, they've been at it for only 15 or 18 or 17 years. Certainly nobody has been in this area for more than 20 years, not at least people who attended this conference today that I'm aware of. And relatively speaking, we are moving much faster than wind energy did during their period. So I think that is because there are much more softwares, there are much more technology, there are much more, if you like, knowledge available to us through IT than it was those days to wind energy, if you like, people.
Ali, you're a fascinating man. Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much.
Pleasure is mine.
You.
Thank you. Thank you.